Almost all accounts, the critical juncture in Ali's boxing career came in 1974 in Kinshasa, Zaire. A 32-year-old Ali, who was probably a little past his prime, got into the ring against the undefeated champion George Foreman. Many feared for Ali's safety, but Ali came up with the rope-a-dope, covering up as Foreman rained punches on him and wore himself out. And Ali pounced in the eighth, winning by TKO. The Rumble in the jungle. And George Foreman joins us now. George, let's go back to that time, 1974. What were the negotiations like between you and Muhammad Ali and Don King for the fight?
You'd be surprised, the easiest negotiation ever. I called Muhammad Ali on the phone and asked him, I said, do you really want this fight? He said, yeah, George. I said, you certain you want to fight me? Because I was some killer then in those days. He said, George, he said, I want to fight, and I promise you I'll promote it. The next day, I hear him on television calling me the Frankenstein monster. He started promoting instantly.
All right, so when you got to Zaire, what sense did you have that Ali had that country on his side?
You know, it wasn't about Ali having the country on his side. When I got in the ring with Muhammad, he had this presence that I've never felt with any other fighter before or after. I hit him with everything, and you could realize that I'm not about him. It's not about him being knocked out or being dropped. He was going to fight, and not only was he going to fight because he was who he was, Muhammad Ali.
We didn't know it at the time. We didn't call it rope-a-dope at the time. He started covering up. And what was your initial reaction? Usually guys, when they're in the ring covering up, they're in trouble. What did you think when you saw Ali doing it?
You got that just right. He covered up, and I said, he's covering up because he's hurt. And boy, I went to finish him. I threw everything I had. 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds. He'd cover up again, hit me, and cover up again. After a couple of rounds, you've heard the term rope-a-dope. I became the dope.
What kind of damage did you think you were doing at the time, George? I mean, it had to have some effect.
I thought I was going to knock him out eventually. And after about the 6th round, I hit him with some good shot. He failed on me, really. And I thought he was giving up, and he said, George, that all you got, George? Show me something. And I realized all those punches were basically a waste.
How did it feel for you? You're throwing all the punches. What kind of a physical effect did it start to have on you and your legs and your arms after all of that?
I'm going to tell you right now, I was the most tired I'd ever been in my life. I don't understand. That fight was going to go on for another 5 rounds or so. I don't know if I would have made it anyway. Basically, I fainted. He hit me with a good shot, though. Right hand. Quickest, fastest right hand I'd ever been hit with. I never saw it coming.
The knockout was in the 8th. Tell me what happened immediately after the fight there in that crazy scene in Zaire.
I was devastated, I can tell you that. And I could hear him screaming, I told you. I said, boy, I'm going to have to listen to this for another couple of years. Muhammad Ali had taken my title and become the heavyweight champ of the world. You know, the only thing I regret, I wish I had gone over there and told him, I don't know how you did it, but you beat me. But I was too swell-headed to tell him that. But he flat out whipped me.
How did you guys eventually become friends? Who extended the olive branch? How did it happen?
Well, really, Muhammad Ali called me. I'd retired to be a minister. He called me. I don't know how he got my number in Houston, Texas, and complimented me for about 20 minutes, and I knew something was up because I couldn't find him for a title shot. He said, George, now, can you do me a favor? I said, certainly. He said, please come back and beat Ken Norton for me. He said, I can't beat him. You can beat him, though. He's afraid of you. They're going to make me fight him or strip me of the title. Please come back. I said, no, I'm not coming back. From that point on, Muhammad Ali and me became the best of friends. We talked on the phone, we visit, we hugged. You would think something was going on with, I love you, no, I love you, trying to see who loved one the other the most.
What made him such a genius, so beloved, the whole picture of Muhammad Ali?
You know, I was dating a girl once before I met him, and we had dinner, and I told her I was going to be a boxer. She said, oh, I saw Muhammad Ali once. He was down the street saying how beautiful he was. Look at me, I'm pretty. She said all he had on was a T-shirt and a pair of jeans. And she looked at me and said, you know what, he was beautiful. I never dated that girl again. I was so done with her. Then I'm in New York City walking around, I see this crowd in 71. And I see what the commotion was. I looked, and there was Muhammad Ali in the midst, just a little shirt on and slacks. And I said, oh no, he is beautiful. She was not lying. She was not trying to put me down. He was beautiful. That's what made him Muhammad Ali.
There's been so much reporting and analysis and talk about Muhammad Ali and his life since his death last week. Is there anything that people who don't know him are getting wrong about him?
Muhammad Ali was just trying to have a lot of fun. He never did grow up. He was a kid forever. He got himself into a lot of things. Maybe he had his politics and, you know, he was basically part of the arts anyway. But the guy was just a big old lovable kid. And don't ever expect anybody to explain any more than that. He loved Joe Frazier. He loved George Foreman. He had names for all of us, but he was still a butterfly.
George Foreman joining us on SportsCenter Coast to Coast, reminiscing about his friend Muhammad Ali. George, we so much appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If I booked a hotel in advance, I wouldn't need one at the last.